Content pillar this, content pillar that. What are content pillars? Hello and welcome back to the Steldia channel where we talk all things marketing. I'm your host Rosie and today we're going to be talking about content pillars. You're probably at the start of your marketing career and you've heard the term content pillars being thrown around everywhere and you're sitting there thinking, this sounds very corporate or straight out of a textbook and it sounds very complicated and confusing, but I'm here to set it straight and let you know that it is not that complicated. It's just a structure. They're actually pretty simple once you get the hang of it and it makes your life as a marketer so much more easier. Today I want to go through what content pillars are, why they matter and how you can form your own. Because once you understand what content pillars are, content creation becomes so much more easier. Let's get straight into it. What are content pillars? Essentially, content pillars categorize the type of content that you create on social media. They act as main themes that guide your whole content strategy. Think about them as core topics that your page mainly talks about. Instead of posting on a whim and just posting spontaneously, your content is organized into a few clear areas. When someone lands on your page, they can instantly find out what you talk about, what value you bring to them, and what to expect from consuming your content. Content pillars essentially bring strategy and direction to your content. Now I want to go into the generic pillars that everyone talks about. You've probably heard of the classic pillars: your educate, your entertain, your inspire, and promote. You've heard of these before. They're your typical content pillars, but what I want you to do is erase that from your head as being content pillars. They should be the aim of your content. Every piece of content that you post on the internet should aim to do at least one of them. I'll give you an example. If you're a digital marketer, you're selling a course. If you post a video of a day in my life as a social media coach or a social media educator, and you're showing them this is my lifestyle, I'm a digital nomad, your aim is to inspire. You're teaching people out there that this life is possible for you. You could say educate as well, but I would say this is more inspirational. And if you're a travel blogger posting a video about 5 things I would never do again when visiting Japan, that would definitely be an education post. That post, that's not your pillar, that's the aim of your post. Just remember the generic pillars, throw them in the bin. They're not necessary anymore. They're outdated and they don't really work. They're way too broad. They basically explain your intent or objective of posting the content, but they're not actually the theme or the topic of your content. This is where custom content pillars come in. Knowing the difference between the generic content pillars and the custom content pillars and creating a strategy for your clients will pretty much differentiate you from being a good and great social media manager. But you're probably sitting there thinking, Rosie, I learned this in uni that these are the proper kind of pillars. I think you're wrong, but let me explain to you why generic pillars are just not enough anymore. The problem with following through with generic content pillars is that they're way too broad and your audience, when they watch your content and go on your page, they become confused. They're thinking, who is this person and what are they even talking about? So today you might be posting something educational, then the next day something inspirational, and then you're promoting something, but they're sitting here thinking, who is this brand all about? They're doing all of these things. I don't know them. And a lot of people that consume social media today, they're very intentional with what they watch. So when I say that, I mean, their attention span is so short. So if you don't grab them because they don't know who you are, they're going to scroll away. You want to stop that scroll. This is why you need custom content pillars because people are really picky with what they watch now. Let's talk about creating custom content pillars for your brand or your client. Having custom content pillars based around your personal brand or your client's brand is really crucial, especially if you're trying to speak to a certain target market. Once you have your actual custom content pillars down pat, the content literally will speak to people in your niche. It will talk through your expertise, help you build authority, and gain your audience's interest. You don't just want to post all willy-nilly, you want to post something that actually speaks to your target audience. Instead of posting a funny little silly TikTok dance, which is definitely top of funnel and depending on the brand you are, that only works here and there because I have seen a lot of brands relying on trends and people following them, their page is growing, but they're not making sales because who are you other than someone that's funny and entertaining to watch? Unless you're like a comedian or you just want to be known as a TikTok dancer, there needs to be that thought behind the posts that you make. I'll give you some examples of what custom content pillars look like for a social media manager. These may include social media education. Social media changes all the time. I think you've seen it. Everyone panics on TikTok and Instagram. Oh, the TikTok algorithm. Oh, I'm stuck in 300 view jail, all of this and that. It happens all the time. Being up to date with that and letting everyone know what's going on is endless amounts of content ideas right there. Another one would be industry insights or tips. I feel like these two, they're kind of similar but different. Having these two as your pillars pretty much positions you as an authority in your field. Other content pillars that a social media manager can also have is business tips, BTS of running a business, and personal founder journey. So the reason why you would choose that is because if you're selling a course and you're showing them business tips, a lot of people would go, she's selling a course on how to run a business. She's teaching me tips on how to run it. She definitely knows what she's talking about, right? I trust that her product is genuine and good. It's really strategic. It's not just like thinking, I'm just going to post whatever today. You're thinking, the audience that I want to speak to, who are they and how do they consume content and what would appeal to them? The reasons why I would also choose BTS and Founder Story is because a lot of founders right now, I'll give you an example of who does this incredibly well. Jane Lu, her Founder Story, amazing. And I think she's coming out with resources for business owners. Keep an eye out on that. But the BTS and Founder Story, simply put it this way, social media, like I've mentioned before, people are very picky with what they watch and they get bored easily. You need to mix it up a bit and post something pervy. And I know a lot of business owners that I've spoken to, they hate this so much. They're like, Rosie, I want to go on social media. I don't want to show my face. And I just don't want to put personality behind the brand. And I feel like that could work for some businesses, especially in beauty. But when it comes to businesses like this in social media, having a face behind the brand really helps. And people are really nosy now. So if you're posting content of what I do in a day, perfect. It gives them an insight of if I purchase their course, what kind of lifestyle could I have for myself? And the perviness, people want more. So they go, if this is what they look like doing this day, what will they do the next day? And how does this help me? So just remember this. When you're thinking of the content pillars and content ideas to make, you're not making content for yourself, you're making content for your target audience. So remember, you're not posting content because you do need to enjoy what you're making, but you need to think of the end user as well. And the pervy nosy bit, it's really important, especially as someone who scrolls on TikTok all day. I'm talking about myself. I just want to know, I love this founder, but what do they do? I don't really know anything about them. I want to support this brand, but if I don't really know them and they're just showing me surface level things, why don't I just buy off Woolies? It's so much cheaper. Let's talk about why content pillars make content creation so much more easier. Having clear content pillars allows your content to essentially write itself. That's literally what I always say to all of my clients. Why is that? Because you're not sitting down thinking to yourself, what am I creating today? What am I posting? What am I filming? What am I doing? It takes all the guesswork out. You start to reframe your mindset from what do I post to which pillar will I be focusing on today? That's also important, but later down the track, I'll also make a video on content planning. This is Basics 101. After this video, content pillars is important to nail first before you start content planning. Content pillars also make content creation so much more easier because it removes a lot of decision fatigue. It also helps you stay consistent with creating content because you have a clear direction. There's a lot of misconception in the industry on content pillars and content ideas, and I want to reiterate with you that they're two different things. So having a content pillars are themes or categories that pretty much guide your whole content strategy, and the content idea is one specific post. I'll give you an example. Your pillar could be social media tips, and then your content ideas would be something like Instagram mistakes businesses make, how to grow on TikTok in 2026, why your content is not converting. Do you see the difference? So the main difference is that the content pillar is a bigger theme. So like a genre. So let's say when you're reading books, you like reading thriller, but there's different types of thriller books. The genre is the pillar, and the different types of books would be your specific content ideas. One pillar can help you come up with dozens of content ideas, which is why having pillars is so powerful. How many content pillars should you have? I recommend between 3 and 5. To me, 5 is the sweet spot. I feel like personally, 3 is a bit too low for my personal liking. I know a lot of social media managers operate really differently and they might merge 2 together and pretty much condense it into 3. But I think anything less than 3 is way too little, and then it pretty much makes your content very confusing and hard for the audience to understand what you're really all about. And then having more than 5 is a bit too much, where now you're posting about everything. And it's like what people say, a jack of all trades is a master of none. I'm also going to be walking through my personal brand's content pillars and content ideas. So I've got this in a table. I'll be sharing the screen with you and we'll walk through it. I won't go through everything, but just quickly so that you have an idea of everything I'm talking about. My brand archetype. This is important as well because it forms your content and it helps you brainstorm much better. I'm an ambitious girl balancing career, travel, and life. That's my brand archetype. And then the content pillars I have revolve around travel, career, beauty, food, experiences, lifestyle, or soft life. I've got 5 content pillars. And like I've said before, you can merge a few together. So food and experiences, that would be food and things to do in Melbourne. And my first content pillar would be Japan. And I've got Japan vlogs, Osaka vlogs, everything to do there, what I packed for Japan, essential travel tips and must-haves for travel, how much I spent in Japan. Then Korea, a week in my life as a working girl, a day in my life as a corporate girl, work from home day, how I balance work and YouTube, and what I wish I knew before starting a corporate job. Beauty, get ready with me for work. So it kind of balances the beauty theme and the career theme together, which is like a double win. My everyday makeup routine, travel and skincare routine. So affordable skincare, and I have rosacea as well, so I could definitely make content based around Korean products that would be suitable for people that have rosacea. Food and experiences, so trying Japanese snacks. I have a few videos of that up already. Trying viral snacks, trying convenience food stores, matcha cafe hopping, totally down my alley. You can see there's a theme where it's like I am a lifestyle blogger, but I don't post consistently the same thing. I'm not always posting just matcha because this isn't a matcha place. I love matcha, that's part of my life, but that's not my whole life. And then the last pillar is lifestyle and soft life. So Sunday reset routine, productive morning routine, night routine, soft habits, and resetting my life after burnout. Those are pretty much some of them. I've got a lot more, but if I show you the whole list, you're probably gonna faint because there's a lot. Each pillar serves its own purpose. They help you build authority for your own personal brand or your client's brand. And some of the pervy types of content help build connection with your community as well. When combining all of these content pillars together, you have a well-rounded content strategy. Now let's talk about common mistakes people make when creating content pillars. Some mistakes include having way too many content pillars. People start to become confused with who you are. And choosing pillars that are too vague, similar to the generic ones. If your content is very confusing, then it's like, do I really want to stay on this channel? And changing pillars every month. I know you're starting a new business, you're going into marketing and everything is very and fun, but it's kind of like, let's stick to a strategy. Let's create a strategy and stick to it, because if you keep changing, the algorithm is going to get confused. People scrolling past are going to get confused. Your family is probably going to get confused too. Even I'm getting confused thinking about this. A lot of people make the mistake of creating content pillars and not really understanding why they had it in the first place. So they ditch it and start following trends. And there's nothing wrong with trends. That is actually part of the funnel as well. So top, middle, bottom, it's a top funnel, but we'll walk through that in another video. But it's important to not rely on trends for growth. Content pillars essentially should feel natural for your brand or your client's brand to talk about long term. As I'm getting ready to wrap up this segment, I just really want to emphasize the importance of having content pillars and that they are not complicated. Content pillars are simply the topics that guide your whole content strategy. And when you have content pillars, making content becomes so much easier. Your messaging becomes clearer. Your audience understands your value, so it's much easier to make sales and build connections. And over time, that builds brand authority. If you're feeling stuck with content creation, because I have a lot of friends that sit there and tell me, Rosie, I don't know what to post. I'm boring. I have nothing to talk about. I don't have value. Then you need content pillars, because let me give you an example. One last quick example. One of my favorite creators on TikTok, her name is Amy Flamey. Where does she post most of her content? In her bedroom. And well, she doesn't go out all the time. A lot of my friends that are wanting to make it in the influencer industry say that my life is so boring, or I don't have anywhere to go. Miss Girl posts just in her room. She goes out occasionally, but 90% of her content is in her bed. And that's why content pillars are important. She knows who she's talking to. She knows what to create because she has a plan. So if you're sitting there thinking you might feel a bit stuck with content, or you're confused with what to post next, take a sit down, breathe, think about everything I've mentioned today, and start brainstorming. Thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.